everyone, it's Marci Geller. Wow, I already have somebody. I thought it was going to take longer for people to join us because I know there's sort of like a little delay, and I think they make you watch a commercial, and I apologize for that, but it's not me, it's Ustream. Anyway, hi new person, anonymous 134041. Oh, and of course, there goes the oil burner. Anyway, for those of you just tuning in, I'm Marci Geller, and this is my very first web chat. I've called it the Square Peg Chat. It seems to be something that I've been focusing on lately because it's not only is Square Peg the name of my newest CD that we're getting ready to release, but it also sort of encompasses how I feel here on planet Earth. So I know that it's sort of struck a chord because a lot of people wrote back and said that they feel like a square peg too, and I sort of felt like maybe I was onto something, because maybe the reality is that we all feel like square pegs sometimes. So anyway, I don't know if you can hear me because I know that the oil burner just went on, of course. Because we have the first cold day here in New York. Anyway, there it goes. Ugh, okay, yeah. I'm going to close the door. You stay right there. I'll be right back. I'm still here. Hang on. And maybe, just maybe, if my husband could come and turn the switch off so that doesn't happen again. Wink, wink. Anyway, if you are just tuning in, I can only see questions and comments if you use the chat function, which is, if you're looking at the screens to the right, I don't know how I'm showing up to you, if it's this way or this way, but it's to the right. You'll see something, it says like social stream, and then it says chat. If you click on chat and then put your cursor in the little window where you can type stuff to me, you can either sign in if you're already a part of Ustream. If you're not, you can just do it anonymously, and that's fine too. Whatever way you're comfortable with. I'm also trying to keep an eye on my iPhone, because if you happen to tweet something, supposedly I should be able to see the tweets that come by, and I have the volume off on my phone so I won't hear that. So welcome to my very first web chat. The things that have been running around in my brain lately, well, obviously the brand new CD, that's something that's, I'm getting a message. That's something that's in my head right now. Oh, I have a comment. It's very quiet. Okay, so I'll get a little closer. Can you hear me better now? People who are on and listening, if you can give me a hi sign, can you hear better? Can you hear me better? That would be great. I'd appreciate it if you let me know. This is the first time, so it's just going to get better, because we'll figure out the technology, and we'll figure out how to make things look and sound good. So, you know, bear with me, as this is my first time doing a web chat. In the past, if you've viewed in, is that even a way of sentence? No. In the past, if you have tuned in, you've seen us do some webcasting, which we did when we were recording my most recent album, which was here in the studio, which is where I am. Okay, sounds better. Good. Glad to hear it. Thank you for the feedback. It's showing that we've got a couple of viewers, actually 4 right now. So if you want to say hi, let me know who you are if you're anonymous. That's great. If you don't want to let me know and you want to stay anonymous, that's fine too. The purpose of this, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about, like, should I plan out everything I'm going to say and plan out everything we're going to talk about? And I decided that I really wanted this to happen organically, because that's the whole point of a chat. You know, if I sit here and script the whole thing, then it's not really authentic. And the thing that I've been thinking about lately is my authentic self. And I don't know if that sounds corny, but the authentic self, what does that mean? Who we are at the core of our being, when there's nobody around and nobody watching. Who is that person that we are? Who is that authentic self? And for me, there's this journey to find the authentic self, because as a performer, I'm sort of in a position where I'm always putting it on. Well, not always putting it on, but I'm performing. I'm singing. I'm writing newsletters. I'm, you know, doing things that, you know, are letting me connect with the rest of the world, and hopefully in a musical way, and hopefully in an interesting way. But the authentic self, like I said, I think is the person or the soul that sits at the core of who we are. And I've been really working on making sure that the authentic self, the authentic person that I am, radiates through, whether it's the makeup or, you know, doing your hair or, you know, whatever it is that you do to prepare for your day, that your authentic self is out there and connecting with other human beings. So let's see, you said you look a little orange and pink but cute. Okay, well, that's exactly what I was going for. I was going for a little orange and a little pink. Well, that's not entirely true, and that's not very authentic, but it is what it is. I don't know. We'll have to mess with this. You know, we tried different rooms and we tried different lighting, and this is what we came up with. And I don't want to keep talking about the technical stuff. I'm really interested in hearing from you. You know, do you have any thoughts about the authentic self? Do you have any questions, thoughts, comments that have nothing to do with the authentic self? I just threw it out there because it's something that's sort of been rolling around in my brain, and I thought maybe it was a good jumping off point, you know, to get people engaged. So I look fine, thank you. I'm, you know, the look thing, that's good, but I'm really more interested in how I can connect with the people who have already sort of found me through my music and through my Facebook stuff. You know, it's not only about music. I share recipes and pictures of the food that I cook because I really like to cook, and I also try to share sort of positive ideas that come into my head, because I feel that we have a responsibility to sort of bolster one another and make sure that we're putting good energy out there. So, okay, I see something a little longer, and you'll have to pardon me. I keep getting closer because I am really blind and I need to get closer to see. So it says, from Robin, how do you get your ideas to be inspired? Okay, well, I'm gonna answer that question. That's a really good one. You know, the interesting thing for me is that there's not one way that I get ideas, but I will say that the common thread is it has to be something that hits me emotionally. You know, something that I'm either experiencing myself or something that I'm watching somebody else experience. And sometimes it's very distant. Sometimes, you know, I could be riding the subway in the city and see somebody with like red eyes and sort of tearing, and I'll create a story about what that person is going through. So that's part of my process. I find very often that when I go running, and I mean that in the exercise way, that I very often get ideas. Like, that's when they hit me. And I am going to play a song. I see that Anonymous 13441 asks if I'm going to play, and I am. I was going to say that to the end, because I figured I would talk first and then get into the music. But let's talk about this process. You know, I'm going to be really careful with my words, only because, you know, I know what I think, and I know it sounds good in here, and then I don't know if it translates out there. For me, the creative process, it almost sits on the spectrum of what I consider OCD, like, you know, obsessive compulsive disorder, because like I said, if I'm running and a melody pops into my head, it sort of goes into this loop, this continuous loop while I'm running, and it doesn't stop until I release it somehow, whether it's I go home and write the song or I sing it into my iPhone when I'm running, but it sort of just compulsively nags at my brain until I release it. So that's one of the things that I deal with as a musician, because sometimes I have to, you know, be doing something other than music. You know, you're at a party, you're hanging out with relatives, you're working, And a lot of times it's like that little muse will plant an idea or some music in my head, and it's almost like, sort of like to test me somehow. And I have to then, figure out how to manage that moment. Am I going to remove myself from the environment that I'm in and go and flesh out this idea, or am I going to ignore it? It's a battle. I have to tell you, sometimes it's sort of like a self-battle. I'm fighting myself. The other way that I get inspiration, and those of you who know me and get my newsletters and read my blogs, I have found out that I do great under pressure. And I know that sounds ridiculous because, I don't know, for me personally, I'm seeking peace all the time. But I have been participating in these like Fearless Songwriter Challenges, which, you get a prompt every day and you are challenged to write a song a day, 7 days straight, and then post it on the Facebook group for everybody to hear. And wow, you want to talk about feeling vulnerable, because generally when I write a song, I don't let anybody hear it until my husband John has heard it. And then if he gives it the thumbs up, then I know it's okay to share with the rest of the world. With the Fearless challenges, sometimes I have to just trust myself and put them up there, even if I'm not entirely sure if the song is done, So that's kind of the song process for me. So how about something else? Let's see. How important is the commercial aspect of your songwriting? That's a really good question. I would love to say that the commercial aspect has nothing to do with the creative process. And very often that's the truth. When I'm doing the Fearless Songwriter Challenge, the last thing I'm thinking about is, okay, you got to write a hit. The only thing I'm thinking about is I want to write a great song. And for me, I don't want to say this in a judgmental way, but for me, there seems to be a parting of ways sometimes between what I consider a great song and what is considered a commercially viable song. And I, personally, as a songwriter, I don't want to stifle the music that's sitting inside of me just because it's not going to be a hit. If something is cool and weird and turns me on in the moment, then I'm going to write it. And then if somebody else likes it, well, that's sort of like, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, as a songwriter, for me, the process feels complete when somebody else hears it, and if they connect with it, even more so. So I think a lot about the commercial aspects because I would love to be making my financial security and stability through my music, I don't think that that's an awful thing to aspire to. I think that there's a stubborn part of me that doesn't want to compromise the artistic aspect in order to fulfill the commercial side. So, part of my reason for doing this is I'm really trying to cultivate my own tribe, I guess you would call it, of people who connect with the music and are here because they like what it sounds like, not because it's on the radio station that they listen to. And, that's a whole nother thing, getting on radio and stuff. I've always followed these very specific formats for promoting the CDs and putting it through radio and putting it through press and media. And this time around, it kind of felt like the CD itself was telling me to do things differently. So this is one of my attempts to do things a little differently. So if you're just tuning in, I do want to say that if you're looking at the screen to your right, there is a chat function, and people are asking questions and making comments. And if you want to be one of the people getting involved with that, you don't need to sign in. You can do it anonymously. If you do want to sign in, you have to have a Ustream account. I don't know if you want to take the time to do that if you don't have one already. I'd rather you just stay here and be in the moment with us. but I just wanted to point that out to you. I'm also going to just let you guys know, I'm going to hold this up, that here are the different places you can find me. Let's see if you can see that. I hope it's not backwards, because it's backwards for me. Can somebody let me know if it's backwards or forwards? Anyway, hopefully it's the right direction for you guys, and these are the various places that you can find me when we're not doing this web chat thing, which, I don't know, so far is feeling pretty good. So I'm going to take this away so you can see my face again. Can't see your faces, but I'm feeling the energy, and it's kind of cool that there are people watching. So, any new questions? Any comments, anything somebody wants to share about anything that I've been yammering on about or that is in your heart or head right now? It's backwards. Awesome. Okay, so next time I will have everything in the right direction. Basically, if you want to find me, you know, it's everything /Marci Geller. So it's Facebook /Marci Geller, Twitter.com /Marci Geller, Instagram /Marci Geller. That's me. That's how you find me. I apologize for the backwardsness of my printed sheet. I thought I was being so cool by having that ready for you guys. So, okay, how often, if ever, do you feel like giving up music completely and focusing on other aspect of living? Well, it's very timely that you ask that question, because last week I was in Baltimore, and I happened to be hanging out with my good friend and talented friend Susan DeVita, and we talked about that very thing. And do I ever entertain it? Yeah. I think more so recently I've thought about whether or not I'm still making music because it's a calling and because it's a passion and it's what I am here to do and it's purposeful, or if it's just my ego that isn't ready to give up, you know. And I don't say give up in a judgmental way. Maybe it's more like moving on from it, because it has encompassed so much of my life, you know, and I know more so at certain times in my life than others where it took up a lot of space, and it still does. I'm being perfectly honest, you know. I wake up thinking about it. I spend my days thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it. And I do question if it's my ego that's hanging on to it or if it's my real self that's holding on to it. And I came to the conclusion that as of today, I'm still doing it because I still love it a lot. Maybe there's a little ego still wrapped. Well, there's always some ego wrapped up when you're an entertainer. But, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that kind of stuff, and you got me all emotional now, so I apologize. Let's see. Who are my biggest musical influences? Wow. You know, I can only go, like, chronologically. You know, my parents listened to the Beatles and the Beach Boys and the Mamas and the Papas and Frank Zappa. I know, they were really weird. So, I mean, those were my early influences, and I think, you know, the day that my dad came home with Carly Simon's album and I abducted it from him, I don't think he ever saw it again, she had a huge influence on me. The first time I listened to a Carly Simon album, I think it was the first time I ever felt like there was another person on the planet that understood who I was, which was weird because I was a little kid, and I later found out that she really was more responsible for the music and that other people wrote lyrics. So it's kind of funny to me that I really connected with her, but maybe it was somebody else. Who else has had big influences on me? Well, you know, my husband has had a huge musical influence on me, because not only because of his own talent and amazing musical sensibilities, but because of the people that he listens to. You know, like for me, the Beach Boys were, you know, fun California girl kind of music, and he introduced me to Brian Wilson, you know, as Brian Wilson, and that had a humongous impact on my life. And if you have the new CD, the last song I wrote for John Tomorrow, my husband, and I wrote it during a Fearless Songwriter Challenge, and I really summoned the Brian Wilson in me because I knew that that would make him, my husband, happy. So, so yeah, those are some of my influences. I'm sure I could go on and on. Let's see, I don't want to miss any questions. Would you perhaps want to write a hit for another performer? Heck yeah. Yes, 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 yes. And that's something I've sort of been exploring lately because then I could still fulfill that musical urge and be home with my husband and my cat. You know? So yeah, that's definitely something that I've been thinking a lot about. And if you listen to any songs and say, I can hear so-and-so sing this, let me know. Email me, message me, tweet me, Facebook message me. I want to know that stuff because, you know, when you write the song, you're so close to it, like you lose your objectivity. So I can't ever hear anybody but me sing it. But if you hear a song and you think that someone else could make it into a hit, bring it on. So thank you for that. Oh, hi Robin. I love seeing you too, even though you're just a little blurb on the side of my screen. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's my favorite song on the new CD? Wow. That's like asking a mother who her favorite kid is. It really depends on the day and the mood I'm in. You know, the last song that I was just talking about, Would You Still Believe, which is the last song on the new CD, Square Peg, it holds a special place for me. I Just Love You, because I wrote it also for my husband, and it was also written during a Fearless Songwriter Challenge. I love Save Me because I got to sing with Laurie Lieberman, and I can't even believe that that really happened. I mean, you want to talk about influences. I mean, I'm such a fan, and she's been such a good friend. And can you imagine having one of your heroes like sing a song with you? And you know, Only Love Matters. I had David Buskin, and I'm going to start rattling off everybody. Here's the thing. I would love, if you don't have the new CD, I would really love you to have it. And there's this pre-order where if you didn't get it in the Kickstarter, you can pre-order the CD on my website. I'm going to give you a little secret. There's a discount code, and it will cover the cost of the CD and the postage, and the discount code is LLD. So lovely listener discount. So LLD, if you put that into the discount section of the CD for Square Peg for the pre-order, you'll get 25% off. Shh, it's just for you guys watching and my mailing list. So I would love for you to get the CD. How many of you have participated in the Square Peg campaign? Anybody out there? If you don't know what the Square Peg campaign is, the CD cover Square Peg I think is like really awesome. It was a collaborative effort with Amy Volchek and Drew Ridker and Shelley Fromm and then me, because I'm part of it. I've been having people send me selfies of themselves with the CD cover, and we have a big gallery on the website if you go to Square Peg, and you can see that. So if you haven't sent me a picture and you do have the CD, please send me one. If you don't have the CD, get it, and send me a picture of yourself and we'll add you to the gallery. Okay, let's see. What was the most exciting gig you ever played? The most exciting gig. Okay. In no particular order. I think the most exciting for me was the first time I opened for Blackmore's Night in Europe, and I was in Italy and I sang for 10,000 people by myself, and I can't even express to you the energy of singing for 10,000 people who actually are listening. And I felt very listened to that night. So that was exciting. You know, being on Live with Regis, I mean, that was terrifying and exciting at the same time. What else? Exciting gigs. You know, I have to say, every time I do a show, I walk away and I go, that was the best one ever. So the last show that I did, that was the most exciting show. So we are getting close to our wrap up here. It's 8:25 here in New York, and I want to finish with a song. So let me see. Have you ever thought about writing songs for children? Yes. I just have to figure out how to fit that into everything else that I'm doing. So I'm going to play a song for you guys. It's actually the first song on Square Peg. It's the one that features Laurie Lieberman. You guys that have the CD know it. It's called Save Me. And the reason I chose to do this song, it's not just because it's the first one on Square Peg. It's because it really expresses the process for me. I was running. It was March. I did not believe that winter was ever going to end. And in the distance, I heard bagpipes. True story, in my neighborhood. And while I was running, I wrote this song to the bagpipes. Let me see, what do you still prefer writing on piano, or has that changed? Oh, maybe we'll save that for next time so I have time to sing the song. I think it's easier for me to write on piano. I love writing on guitar because it challenges me a little bit. So, yay. Thank you so much for listening. Let's wrap this up with a song, and let's do this. Outside my window, there's a world that shines brightly, but the only thing that strikes me are the shadows. I can ride the waves of goodness, and my body float on hope, push aside the constant clamor of myself down. I searched high, I fell low, lost my savior long ago, and we know that it's music that will at the beauty behind this tattered shirt that reminds me of a moment when I feel it's true. But the truth is just an angle that turn like billowed sails, and the only one just steer it holds the money. I searched high, I fell low, lost my savior long ago, knowing all that is music that will save me. Back and behold the promise of my creation. As I grapple with this movie that has ended in surprise, I wonder if the message is the compromise. 'Cause it turned into a romance between me and the unknown. Perhaps these circumstances are the cornerstone. I searched high, I fell low, lost my savior long ago, knowing all that it's music that will save me. I searched high, I fell low, lost my savior long ago, knowing all that it's music that will save me. 'Cause I know that it's music that has saved me. Thank you. Oh, sorry there were commercials. It's going to come back. You're going to hear me do the whole song. Sorry about that. Thank you for tuning in. This was fun, and I'm so excited that we had this time together. I'm so glad we had this time. All right, I won't go there. If you are not on my mailing list, please, above, sign up for my mailing list. You'll get a free song, and you'll get my lovely newsletters where I tell you what's going on, shows that are coming up, when this is going to happen again. Right now, I'm planning on doing this every Monday. So every Monday, New York time, 8 o'clock. Hope to see and hear from many of you. Please spread the word. Let people know. And thank you. Thank you again for sharing this time with me. I see this was fun. You have to do this again soon. Yes, Ray, I will. I'll be here next Monday. Thank you so, so much. Love you all. Lots of love and good energy to all of you. Mwah. Have a good night, everybody.